okay, you're gonna say, Warner, you're talking about all this fraud and everything. This is like so obvious that why aren't these prosecutors doing anything? I don't think you're right, Warner. Yeah, I hear that all the time. Why isn't the FBI? Well, you don't know if the FBI isn't. I mean, this problem is like Bernie Madoff on just steroids, crack, everything else you can think of. It's just way beyond Bernie Madoff. It's worse than you could ever, way, way bad, okay? You've got all these law enforcement agencies. You've got the HUD. You've got Department of the Treasury. Why aren't they doing their job? Why aren't they enforcing the law? If you see all this fraud out there and all these files, you got material facts right in there. One document says one thing, another document says another thing. And another agency says this, another agency says that. I am going to say this, okay? Thomas O'Brien, former, of course, United States Attorney out of California, O'Brien, okay? He ended up resigning in August of 2009. But, he had some great takes. He exposed specifically Countrywide, New Century, and I think some other, and he mentioned just like 25 others that are under investigation. Along, he's working with the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, and they just investigate things. Okay. Why, he has another problem too. Why aren't they doing their job? Let's not forget that a lot of these guys are in bed. In Ohio, for example, Jim Petro, he got a ton of money from the banks when he ran for governor. He's getting money from the bank executives. Okay. In Middleburg Heights, there's a big. I'm not saying his name, but in Middleburg Heights, there's a big. There formerly was a big mortgage brokerage. He gave a ton of money to George W. Bush and Bob Taft. George, who he is. Bob Taft's governor of Ohio, previously, he's a crook too. And then he gave a ton of money to Jim Petro, former Attorney General of Ohio. Eric Holder used to work for a law firm that represented all these companies. And John Dugan, he worked for the same law firm. They represented Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo. It just goes on and on. They represent NFL, NBA, all those guys too. But, you've got that problem there, okay? The big problem really is, how do you contain this thing? It's like Michael Jordan, bam, bam, just throw down jumpers. How do you can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him, right? He's just throwing them down on you. So what do? You can't. It's too big to fail. If you go after it, obviously Chase is egregious to no end. Bank of America, just filthy liars, big time crooks, and then of course Citigroup, Sandy Wheel, all those guys. Charles Prince. Okay. You got Jamie Dimon. They're all in this whole Federal Reserve System as it is anyway. And then you've got the problem though, like, okay, we go after these banks and we prosecute them, okay? We get the CEOs and the CFOs and for lying to the shareholders and everything else, right? And ripping off the borrowers, ripping off the customers for checking accounts, credit cards, and you name it. Especially the 401ks and, it's not retirement account. He's getting better at the 401k administrators and pension fund boards and everything. If you go after these guys, you're going to have people going to go crazy. You see what happened to IndyMac? Just look at any of these guys. Any of these banks are just you're getting runs in the banks big time. Because they're scared that people are going to see, pull our deposits out. What's the FDIC going to do? They've only got another $500 million for the reserve line through the Treasury. And we've got more than $3 trillion in deposits. We're gonna, the Americans will go crazy. They will. And you know what? You don't need to go to the bank anymore, always, to actually withdraw your money. You just press a button on your computer. Boom, done. And transfer the funds over to your credit union. Or, you might want to need to go to the bank to get all that cash, put it on your mattress, whatever. That's a serious problem. But, a lot of times they just don't know the law. They don't know what they're doing. They don't. I've talked personally to many assistants of attorneys general all throughout America, and they just, I didn't even know that was happening. And typically they're going to try to blame the borrower first, you know, because they're trying to steal money from the government, whatever. In many cases, that, and you're going to see that many times. Or we'll just get the loan officer at the bank, or we'll just get the banker, we'll get the teller. Hello, chain of complicity. Keep going up. Where does this thing start? You know, CEO maybe? President? You know, chairman of the board? Hello, board. Where the hell were you? 12 goofballs. I mean, are you kidding me? Washington Mutual? Were you not watching this stuff? Hello, 5 members of the board of the FDIC. Are you guys not paying attention? that's a problem. You know, you got all these regulators, and FTC, of course, are extremely underfunded, and US DOJ, they're extremely underfunded, undermanned. Now we're passing laws to, literally a law was passed in Congress, and it was signed by the president that actually enforce the laws that are already in the books. But eventually, they're gonna have to be prosecuted. That's all there is to it.